All right, welcome to our training on how to launch your online coaching, consulting, or service-based business in 30 days and for less than $200. I'm going to walk you through today 7 simple, straightforward steps that you can begin to apply immediately so that you can finally launch that online business that you've been dreaming about for so long. Let's dig right in. Step number 1, the mind shift. Now, I know a lot of people, especially online coaches, will talk about mindset, but to me, mindset kind of sounds a little too stagnant, a little too concrete, set in place. It's not adaptable, it's not transformational. So what I want to suggest to you today is, rather than thinking about mindset, let's think about a mind shift and taking our perspective from an employee type of mentality to an entrepreneur's type of mentality. Now you might think, well, Brandon, that's obvious. I'm starting my own business, or maybe you've been in business for a while and you're just making a transition. I already have that entrepreneur's mentality or state of mind and being. But what I'm suggesting today is that by transitioning from an employee mentality to an entrepreneur mentality, by making that mind shift, number 1, you can adopt the beginner's mind, meaning even if you've got experience in something, let's take the approach as if you're brand new, because then you'll start asking new questions, then you'll start exploring more, then you'll be able to innovate because you're not stuck in the mentality of, well, been there, done that, I already know this. Remember, that's a mind set, stuck in place. We're talking about a mind shift. The idea here is that an employee mentality is only concerned with, I'm going to show up, I'm going to put my time in, and then that's what I'm getting compensated for. Whereas the entrepreneur mentality, as you shift into this new way of thinking and being, the entrepreneur's mentality says, I get compensated for the value that I add. And when we get into creating outcome-based, value-driven programs, we're going to dig a little bit more into that. But the point here is to say that when you make that shift, you're no longer just accountable to show up and put your time in. You're accountable to actually get a real result for your clients, which is why all of us got into this profession, this coaching or consulting business in the first place, is so that we can make a real impact in someone's life and business. So the idea here is that we're holding yourself and your clients to a higher standard. So if I'm operating with the entrepreneur's mentality, then I'm holding myself to a higher standard and I'm holding my clients to a higher standard. Now let me give you a quick example from my own life. Little over a decade ago, when I started out as a personal trainer, I was in the employee mentality. It was literally a mindset. I was stuck there. I would show up for personal training sessions, take that person through a workout, get compensated for it, and that was the end of it. Yes, I wanted them to get a result, but at the end of the day, it didn't really actually matter if they got the result or not. They would keep showing up, I would keep showing up, and we had that little arrangement. Now, what I'm suggesting is, in order to make that transition into the entrepreneur lifestyle, we have to grow and evolve beyond that. Think outside of hourly wages, think outside of time frames, think outside of per day retainer if you're a consultant to get your advice and, hey, you put your time in, you're good to go. We're all about now, as we go into step 2, creating outcome-based transformational programs. And what that means is, step 2, outcome-based programs, we're dealing with the program and process design of the thing, the service that you are going to sell. This is where most new entrepreneurs, where most new coaches or online consultants get stuck, because they don't have a clear understanding of exactly what it is that they're offering and what the results of that offering actually are. So what happens is we move towards creating outcome-based programming, and it's a structured process. This is the number 1 factor to help you rise above the session-by-session mentality so that you can create an offer that you can sell and then deliver online. I always like to say, if you don't know where your clients are headed, guess what? Neither will they. And that might seem one of those obvious things, right? It's simple, not easy. It's simple enough to understand. Well, obviously, Brandon, I would need a structured process, a step-by-step guided path for my clients. But like I said, this is where most entrepreneurs get stuck, not realizing that what my clients want is a structured process, but they want that customized application into their own context. So if I'm a business coach and I've got a 6-phase process that walks people through certain elements of business coaching in a certain whatever industry specific program that is, I can say with predictability, you are going to come across these barriers along the way, and each of these phases in my proprietary process helps you overcome one of those barriers and achieve XYZ milestone. Now you have the framework around which you can structure and grow your business. But as your coach, I'm now going to not only walk you through that framework day by day, month by month, but I'm also going to show you which pieces you need to apply to your context immediately so that you can take powerful steps forward. And that is the difference between a coach who just shows up for sessions, here we go, and a coach who says, no, I've got a structured, predictable process that I'm going to walk you through, and when I take you through this process, you can expect to achieve XYZ result as long as you consistently apply this framework to your unique situation, which is what I'm here to help you with. So the idea is that as we apply these things step by step to the context of our clients, the only possible variable is, did they show up? In other words, we're eliminating the possibility of failure. As long as they show up and do the work, they will be guaranteed success and the result and the outcome that you're promising to deliver, simply because you have the structured process and they are going to follow it with you. And of course, that brings us to step 3, audience building. Now that you've got the entrepreneur's mind shift, that mentality and state of being in place, and you've got a structured program, it's time to start selling it. As soon as you have a defined offer with a price point, you can immediately bring it to your target audience. Now, audience building is the process of gathering more and more eyeballs to look at your stuff. And when we're talking about online coaching and leveraging the online platform in order to build a business, we're going to talk about starting with organic traffic, meaning you're not going to pay money for it. Yes, there's a time cost involved, but you're not going to pay money for it right out of the gate until you start producing cash flow to make that transition to paid traffic. And we're going to start with the organic traffic via social media. Now, what that means is we got the big 4, right? We've got LinkedIn, we've got YouTube, we've got Instagram, we've got Facebook. And yes, there are hundreds of others. There's Pinterest, there's TikTok, there's whatever. You could go on and on. Snapchat. Point is, the big 4 are the best place to start because they have been around in some cases longer than most, and they have the largest existing audiences. So we're going to talk about leveraging existing audiences to build yours. Now that happens in a different way on each of those platforms, and for people starting out, what you're going to want to do is pick 2 of the big 4 to start out. It's simple as that. I started my business primarily with Facebook and LinkedIn, but even with LinkedIn, I didn't really even use it that much. It was mostly just leveraging Facebook, leveraging existing audiences on that platform, meaning other groups that already existed that were within my ideal client profile, and then connecting with those people in order to build my personal profile, which has up to 5,000 connections on Facebook, and then from there, reaching out to those people to get them connected with some of my resources, and then eventually into a full program. Now, the beauty of this in terms of audience building with leveraging existing audiences is that it doesn't cost any money. It's simply a matter of going out, connecting with people, bringing them into your world. The metaphor we use in the Launch Accelerator is the cocktail party. So if I go into a Facebook group, I'm not going to jump in there and start spamming everybody and posting links and making it all about me. It would be the equivalent of going to an in-person cocktail party and jumping up on the table and saying, hey everybody, look at me, I'm so great. Everybody's going to go, well, who's this guy? We don't care about him. Everybody's subconsciously asking, what's in it for me? So we create a way to add value to the user experience of that group as a way to build authority and connect with more and more people. Now that's a Facebook example. You might be using LinkedIn. You jump into LinkedIn, get on Sales Navigator, search out the criteria you're looking for, send a connection request, send a warm message that's going to be inviting, add value to that person's experience, and then as you build authority over time, post on your own newsfeed, post articles, write whatever the case is, you'll gradually build your audience over time. So you've got the mind shift, you've got the program, then we're going to build our audience who will be the ideal market that is eventually going to buy from us, and that then takes us into step 4. Step 4, we're going to talk a little bit about marketing, specifically the spider web marketing strategy. What does that mean? Simply put, it is leveraging multiple traffic sources to increase omnipresence, right? That omnipresence is no matter where someone goes, they end up seeing you because you're everywhere. The idea with the spiderweb marketing strategy is that, let's say I have a Facebook page and a YouTube channel. I have my Facebook page, my Facebook group, my Facebook personal profile. I have a YouTube channel. The idea here is that no matter where someone goes or where they click on any of those platforms, they always end up headed towards the same place. Now, step 5, I'm going to show you a little bit about what that means in terms of building a funnel that will actually take a prospect through the client journey all the way through to enrolling you. The spiderweb marketing strategy is all about getting the eyeballs, getting that traffic, that organic traffic, constantly interacting with your stuff to where every channel is pointing to every other channel. So I might have my Facebook personal profile, I have a cover photo, it says click here to get started, I click there, and maybe that takes them to my YouTube channel. And then on my YouTube channel, in the description, it says click here to access the whatever, and then clicking there is going to take them to my Facebook group. And then they're like, oh, well, this is the same guy that I was just connected over here with on his personal profile. Now they're starting to see you in your Facebook profile, on your Facebook group, your Facebook business page, then on your YouTube channel, and all of these avenues start talking to each other, so they're just going everywhere. The idea here is that we're leveraging the human tendency to creep on each other. What's the first thing that you do when you make a new friend on Facebook? Well, you go and you check out their profile, you scroll through their stuff, you start just clicking around out of sheer curiosity, right? So then you're going to start to see other resources, and that other resource points you to this other one, and then they end up joining your group automatically, even though it was just a connection request and there's no aggressive pitch. Instead, we're talking about using an assertive approach versus the passive approach. And you've seen the passive approach, whether or not you would call it that or not. You've seen the passive approach on social media. These are the people who just post random things, and they're using hope marketing, right? They're just like hoping that someone's going to reach out to them via Messenger and go, hey, I saw that one blog post of yours, and wow, I really just want to work with you. Here's my money. Never happens that way. The spiderweb marketing strategy acknowledges that we've got to be assertive in putting our stuff out there so that we can rise above the noise, because let's face it, it is a crowded marketplace. Now, that's not a disadvantage, let me be clear. I believe that a crowded marketplace is actually an advantage because we've got more total eyeballs looking at all the stuff, and it gives you an opportunity as a premium level service provider with the process that you created in step 2, it allows you an opportunity as a premium service provider to rise above the noise, to stand out among the crowd and shine, so that people see you and go, ah, I can tell so-and-so's different because they have XYZ in place. They're providing resources for me. They're actively reaching out to me. I know, like, and trust them. I believe that they actually have the process and program in place that can solve my life or business problem. So once we've got the traffic, the organic traffic rolling with the spiderweb marketing strategy, now we can move into the next step. So step 5 is designing simple funnels, and that's the key, is simple funnels. You see a lot of these online marketers out there right now promoting these wild and crazy 10-step, 50-step funnels, or build 5 funnels at once and create. It's all very confusing. What I'm going to show you today is the first funnel you should have in place. If you have never built a funnel before, after you get your spiderweb, the guts of your spiderweb marketing strategy in place to help generate traffic, keep that organic traffic flowing, then we're going to build the most simplified version of a funnel. So the first piece here is, well, we need a traffic source. That was step 4. That was the spiderweb marketing strategy that brings you traffic along with direct outreach using your top 2 of the big 4. Remember, organic traffic via social media, all the stuff starts coming together. Now we have a traffic source. We're going to send that traffic source to a landing page. You've probably heard of landing pages. They're all over now. Very simple, very straightforward. It's just a page that exists on the internet where you offer someone something of value that they want. Most of the time, this is a freebie or a freemium type of offer. So they then opt in and they get redirected to a thank you page. Now, the idea with the thank you page is after they've already opted in, you go, hey, great, you've got the resource. Now you know how to XYZ, whatever you promised them in the resource. How about we put that into play? We'll jump on a quick 15-minute call. We'll talk about how you can apply the principles inside of that resource directly to your business. Makes sense, right? Then that would redirect them to a scheduling page. And then from the scheduling page, obviously, ideally, we're looking for them to book a call. And then on that call, we can go through the strategy session process and then enroll them. And we'll talk a little bit about value-driven enrollment on step 6, which is coming up. Because remember, all of these are related to each other. They all overlap. We're going to talk about that process here in a second. But after they've opted in here on the landing page, they get redirected to the thank you page. But now we're also going to include an email follow-up sequence. The idea is that the email follow-up sequence, yes, extra resources, yes, added value through text or video or what have you, but eventually those emails also offer a redirect back to the schedule page because we're trying to get someone on the call with us. Now, if you've never seen a funnel before, even a simplified one might seem or feel like a little overwhelming, but it's very linear, except for this little side step, in that we've got our traffic, they land here, they go here, then to this step, then on a call with us, and then we have sort of this safety net here to catch those people who maybe missed the thank you page or missed a few emails. They still have an opportunity to connect with us. Now, when this is set up properly, it will allow you to focus on one funnel to one offer in order to launch. What I mean by that is in our step 2, the structured program process, we're building out an offer. To start out, remember, we're talking about your first 30 days. To start out, you don't need 10 different offers. You don't need an incredibly complicated value ladder. You need one premium offer that leverages one-on-one coaching, because that's the type of business we're talking about, coaching, consulting, service-based business. It involves one-on-one, and we're going to focus on just the one funnel along with that spiderweb marketing strategy that's going to guide them directly to the call with us where we can enact our value-driven enrollment process. This is the key to staying on track when you launch. One funnel, one offer, launch and make it happen. From there, after your first 30 days, there's all kinds of other strategies and tactics and techniques that you can use. We're talking about how do I go from 0 to 1? How do I get off the ground to launch this business that I've been dreaming of? So once we get them on the call, then we can move forward to the next step. Step 6 is what we call value-driven enrollment. Now, let me be clear. I'm not talking about the pretending to add value sales calls that most coaches are doing these days. They say, oh, we'll get on a strategy call, I'm going to provide value, but it ends up just being a veiled sales pitch, right? People are wise to that now. They don't like it, and it actually doesn't serve you as the coach. It doesn't serve your prospects in that they don't end up becoming a client because they're turned off by the old school cheesy sales tactics. The idea here with value-driven enrollment is, yes, there's an opportunity to enroll in your program if it's a good fit at the end of that call, but we're talking about providing an actual action plan based on your structured process. Remember, we've got that sorted out in step 2. Then we're talking to someone, digging into figuring out what are the obstacles, what are the challenges, how does my program fit in there, how can it help you, what's going to be the step-by-step action plan for you. Then ask if they want help implementing, right? Now, I'll be straightforward with you. This step-by-step process that I'm outlining right here, this is kind of the same idea. I'm saying, here are the 7 steps that you need in order to get started. Predictably, you're going to run into these challenges along the way. This is how you overcome those challenges. And at the end of this video, well, really at any time, you can click below. You can go right to the info page and you can enroll in the 30-day Launch Accelerator program. Remember, I told you it's less than $200 to get started. 30 days of actual implementation. Now, hey, if you think you can do it on your own, more power to you. Most of the people that I talk to, they've been trying to do it on their own for 6 months or more, sometimes 5 to 10 years, and they haven't been able to gain any momentum. So the idea here is, not only am I going to give you from a high level the 7 steps that you need to actually get started, but then if you want help implementing that, for 30 days with group coaching, with training, with all kinds of great resources, I'm going to walk you step by step through exactly how to implement this. You even get a one-on-one private coaching call with me, which is value driven, right? Meaning that I'm not going to just try to pitch you some other upsell to some other program. I'm going to take a look at where you actually are right now, and we're going to work on a specific action plan that you would need to put into place in order to take steps forward. Same is true as you are getting started trying to enroll your clients. You talk to them, figure out the problems, figure out how you can step in and assist them, and then let them know, hey, based on what you just told me, I think you need to do these 5 action items, and you can implement these over the course of the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever the realistic time frame is. Do you want help implementing that? It's a very simple question. There's no pressure. It doesn't feel salesy. It's just acknowledging, here's what you have to do, and do you want some support along the way? So it comes across as very caring, very value driven. That is the enrollment process. That is what prompts someone to pay $2, $3, $5, $8, $10,000 for your premium one-on-one coaching services. Then, once we have the value-driven enrollment system in place, once you start enrolling people and you're able to start to get towards that goal of your first 10 online coaching clients, once you've got that process into play, we can now move on to the final step in this Launch Accelerator process. And that final step, number 7, client fulfillment systems, meaning how will you, as the coach, how will you deliver the promised outcome? So a client fulfillment system simply means, hey, are there digital training modules? Is there one-on-one coaching? Is there a group coaching element? Are there extra templates or resources? How do you take your skill and knowledge and expertise and make it transferable, so make it duplicatable to your client so that they can put it into play for themselves. Now, here's the kicker. Client fulfillment systems, when you're getting started out, most coaches are just going, hey, I got one-on-one coaching, that's how I fulfill my service. Nothing wrong with that, it's just that it's the foundation, there's more to it. What we're talking about is when you add partially automated, because it's still a coaching program, we still need that personal one-on-one touch. Partially automated fulfillment systems are client-focused. Now, what I mean by that is we often get caught up in believing that a automated or partially automated system is for the coach to free up more of my time. But the idea here is we create a win-win scenario where any partially automated fulfillment system needs to fulfill 2 criteria. Number 1, does it provide a deeper and or more accelerated result for the client? And then number 2, which is it involves less time from the coach. So the reason these are client focused is you get a better result for the client by implementing partially automated fulfillment systems, and by freeing up more time for the coach, you're able to serve your clients at a deeper level because you're not constantly burnt out from servicing too many sessions and handling all the back end work after the fact, all the extra emails, all the extra scheduling, all the extra XYZ, call it what you will. There are a few partially automated systems regarding scheduling, regarding curriculum, regarding how you communicate with your clients. Those are the three big areas at first in your first 30 days. There's a few systems that you can immediately put into play. They only take a few hours to set up, but they create hours and hours of extra time per week that you otherwise would have wasted. So now you're able to serve your clients better in those sessions. And by creating automated curriculum, again, partially automated, your client can continue to make progress even when they're not in a session with you. That is how you will know that you have arrived as a coach in terms of fulfilling on your promised outcome, is when your clients experience progress and growth not only when they're in session with you, but also when they're outside of session with you, because you've given them guided and structured field work that they're able to put into play even when you are not right there with them, walking them through the process step by step. Okay, so you've got the 7 steps. The next obvious question is, well, what's next? What do I do with all this information? And as I alluded to before, I'm going to give you the option to continue working with me. 30 days of action and implementation. You've got the plan, you've got the strategic overview, you could take these 7 steps, you could put them into play on your own, but doesn't it make sense to work with somebody who's been here before? These are all the tactics and strategies that I use to launch my own business, so experientially I know that they work, and then I'm going to take you through 30 days of action and implementation. What does that mean? Simply put, this is the 30-day Launch Accelerator program. This normally goes for $497. Through the end of this month, I'm offering it for only $197. That was my original promise to you, how to launch your business in 30 days for less than $200. You could go do it on your own and spend probably $0, but what I'm offering for the $197, you're going to get 30 days of training with guided fieldwork assignments that say, hey, after you watch this training, here's the next things that you need to put into play immediately before you move on to the next training session. Then on top of that, I included another 12 hours of bonus training material that has previously only been available to my private clients. So I took some of the best stuff, extracted it out. I asked myself the question, what's going to be relevant for somebody who's just getting started in their first 30 days in an online service-based business? I put that content in there as well. Then every single week, you get the option to attend group coaching sessions. Now, obviously, I recommend you attend 2 to 3 of those per week, but even if you only attend 1 per week, you're going to get that much more progress out of this whole process. Then on top of that, I'm also offering that one-on-one private coaching session with me, where we're going to dig in for 1 full hour where your business is at, what you need to do to move forward. I'm going to tell you which pieces of the curriculum are going to be most relevant for you that week, and then I'm going to give you a customized fieldwork assignment that will give you step-by-step action items so that you can put this into play, with the end goal that in the first 30 days, you will start enrolling new clients. It could be 1 client, it could be up to 5 clients, and you'll also then be equipped to go on and move forward and enroll your first 10 online coaching clients.